Hey Tony, what'd you think of the visits this week with the family?
It was wonderful. Lots of good discussions, lots of really good food, a lot of drinking. It was excellent.
Awesome. I had a great time too. So it's been, let's see, just a little over a month since my last chemo treatment. So kind of wanted to give you an update on what life after treatment feels like for me. Been an interesting few weeks, lots of emotional stuff, definitely. So again, yeah, it's been a little over a month. My last treatment was May 14th, so I haven't had any chemo since then. And talking with my palliative doctors and my oncologist, we've decided that we were going to go on what I have been terming as a chemo break. But in reality, this is me pretty much stopping treatment. So recapping, everyone knows I've been on a whole bunch of different chemos. Not as many as some others. Other people keep trying because they'll get success and then maybe it stops, so then they try something else and then they get success. And one thing I've stressed through all my videos is every cancer patient is different. Every cancer patient is going to react differently to chemos, and because everybody is different, I'm no different than that. And so, as I've said before, chemos don't seem to like me too much. So nothing has really worked. Arguments have been made. Could I have stayed on some drugs longer even though they were making me feel not right? Yes, I could have and endured things. And is there a possibility that disease progression or stabilization could have been achieved for a short period of time? Yes, that's probably true. But in likelihood, it's not or wouldn't expand my life in any way. So the question you have to ask is, when you make a decision, do you stop treatment? Do you continue? Do you whatever? It's quality of life over quantity of life. And yes, there's many, many reasons to choose one or the other. So my goal has been, since I decided to take this chemo break, is to begin to feel as good as I can in order to have a better quality of life while I'm here. So that is what I'm doing. And again, it's been a roller coaster, an entire mixed bag of good and bad and ugly and everything else. So, nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody's going to be able to predict the future. Nobody knows how long I'm going to be here. My goal, my wish, my every thought is that, as I've said in previous videos, this is the miracle thing. I'm just going to be this miracle child that miraculously gets rid of this disease. My body is telling me something otherwise. But since this chemo break has started, I do have to say my expectations have not been met yet, and that's been very disappointing. But that's something, hopefully this becomes a teaching moment for people, that my expectation was that I would get off of chemo and within a few weeks I would start maybe getting some more energy. I would feel better. I would gain mobility back that I've lost. I would be able to get my taste buds back. And unfortunately, really none of that has happened. And in fact, there have been days where I have felt worse being off chemo than when I was on chemo, which shocked me. Luckily, those are only, maybe a few hours throughout a day. And a lot of that is adjusting medications to be where they need to be in order to make me the most comfortable in order to feel good. And as you know, I've, even had a trip to the ER already, and that's going to happen. So, and that's something I wasn't expecting either, is that there are going to be good days and bad days, even though there is no chemo or treatment going on. And the bad days can be really bad because they usually involve quite a bit of pain. And so I've had pain, again, as you already know, that brought me back to the hospital. And I spent 5 days there, and it's just, it's part of the process, I guess, of living with the cancer in your body. So while I still affirm that this cancer is shrinking and going away, what's inside my body is a different story, as I said earlier. So it's been this roller coaster of both physical issues and emotional issues. Because also when you make this decision, you might, as I have to start dealing with issues of acceptance, of your own mortality, of feeling like, are you doing the right thing? And that, of course, is something that happens in life anyway. No matter what decision you make throughout your life, whether it's cancer-related or work-related or relationship-related or whatever, you wonder if you've made the right decision or not. Those are valid feelings. But ultimately, the decision that you make is the right decision for you at that time. I am now in the process of doing my very best to live each day as it comes, even though each day might be getting harder. And that was another expectation of mine that it's kind of disappointing that hasn't been met, because again, I was hoping I would get stronger and be able to do a lot of the things that I used to be able to do, but that's, at least for now, does not seem to be the case. For example, just in the past couple of days, the last radiation I had was supposed to help shrink a tumor that was wrapping around my spinal column and pressing on the spinal nerve. I've had numbness in both my legs for quite a while now. Well, that numbness is just getting worse. And yesterday and today are 2 days where walking is very difficult, which is bad because I want to get out and get exercise. So I'm still forcing myself. I can walk. I'm now going to start using my cane a lot more. Very disappointing. I don't want to be using a cane if I don't have to, but it seems like that's something I need to do because I'll fall over if I don't. There's the issue of even a small thing like taking a shower. So now, you get in the shower, you have to close your eyes when you're washing your face or whatever, and never been a problem before. The last 2 days, I have to hold on to the wall when I'm showering. And I do have a shower chair now, and I know it's not going to be long before I'm going to have to be sitting while I'm taking a shower. Again, very disappointing things, but I'm trying to take things day by day. Even if I have to sit, I guess, at least I'm still able to take a shower. which is a good thing for the people around me. Again, physical things that I can't do. Luckily, I can still drive. That's one thing I can still do. I actually just renewed my driver's license. Hopefully we'll be able to at least run some short, quick errands, whether they're through drive-thrus or whatever, but able to do that. Spending time with family and friends. That's the other thing that I'm planning on doing and doing now, wanting to do. Today, my sister from California is the last person who was here who left. She just left today. So all my siblings were here all last week. It was an amazing time, filled with lots of disappointment and lots of happiness and laughter and a ton of good food. And you know, some of the disappointment was actually one of the big major pieces was that my sister from California unfortunately has some medical issues of her own and spent 5 days in the hospital. So we couldn't see her for 5 days, which really put a damper on things. We kept pushing to make sure that she could get out before she had to leave so that she could spend time with all of us. And we were able to get together time with the entire family, but getting together with everybody was fantastic. So we were able to get the entire family together. We spent quality time. That's been one of the highlights so far this week. As I've mentioned in a previous video, in my last video, that we're now planning on getting up to Mackinac Island in Michigan next week, leaving Monday. This is up in the air, unfortunately, right now. I'm still hopeful and affirming it's going to happen. We'll get there somehow. It's an 8.5, 9 hour drive to get there. If you asked me last week, I was all set to drive up there. But as with this disease, and I said before, new pains pop up, and I've been getting a lot of new severe pain, and that's also making it very difficult to walk. So I've got another new pain that's been on my back, in the middle of my spine. Don't know if it's a tumor, don't know what's going on. We're trying to control it with pain meds, but it will make driving, whether I'm a passenger or driving, it will make it very difficult to do that. The good news is I have some absolutely the best, incredible friends that anybody could ever ask for. And I have pilot friends that are now willing to fly me up there. Unfortunately, it's all weather dependent. And if you look at the weather forecast right now, Monday is not looking really good for flying. That could change. We're hoping for that. And I'm affirming that we're going to make this happen, because that not only would help me get up there quicker and not deal with driving, but it will fulfill a dream of mine. You all know that I'm a pilot and haven't been able to fly for a while, but this would be in a good friend of mine's twin engine plane. And I haven't flown in a twin engine, and I've always wanted to. And he's been wanting to get me to take me up and go, and offered to do this. And I am so thrilled and excited and hope that we will be able to make this happen. So that's on the records now. And we're hoping that on Monday we will be flying up to Michigan and then flying back on Thursday. Just keep your fingers crossed, your prayers, please, whatever you do to make that happen for me, because that's really the last thing. That's the thing that we're trying to make happen. So fingers crossed, prayers, affirmations, positive thoughts, everything to make that trip happen, because it would be nice to just get away, decompress, I'm not going to be able to walk around a lot, unfortunately, in Mackinac. There are no cars there, so everything is horse-drawn buggies or bicycles, and I can't ride a bike, but we will do whatever we can, and we're going to eat well and drink well, and really looking forward to just relaxing for a few days. I also wanted to kind of recap just even this past year and some of the things that I've gone through emotionally that make this whole thing even harder. And it's all dealing with loss. I'm just going to start way back. We'll start back in November. And I've talked before about the importance of having a counselor, specifically a cancer counselor, somebody who deals with cancer patients and knows what we're going through, so that they can help you through those emotional pieces. And I had an amazing counselor last year through one of the cancer, it's a place here called the Cancer Wellness Center. And I was very happy with my counselor, but he and his wife ended up moving out of state in November, right before COVID hit. So I lost my counselor that I was very comfortable with, and had started the process of trying to find a new counselor, but then COVID hit. So that kind of got put on the back burner. So then you're dealing with COVID and the losses associated with that. And that was huge, as a cancer patient who at the time going through treatment, very difficult to do. Being treated differently doesn't make you feel good, and not feeling good while you're locked in your house or not able to go out. And you know the story. Everybody's been through this themselves. So I don't have to recap COVID, but certainly something that created a sense of loss in everything that we can't do this year. So there's number two. Number three was, we knew it was coming actually before, but it happened. And actually, again, right before the lockdowns hit, were my primary care physician that I've been with for over 17 years retired. And so I had to find a new primary care physician. So I lost my counselor and then my primary care physician. So I had to go find a new one of those. I do have one, only met him over the phone because of COVID, which is strange to begin with, but I do have a primary care physician. Again, a sense of loss that I lost somebody that's been in my life for a while, who knows me, and you kind of want, as a sick person with a major disease, that you really want a team of people that know you, and he certainly was part of my team, and I miss him, but we move on from that. The other loss then, as I've mentioned in previous videos, is that I believe it's the end of July, my sarcoma specialist, who was I'm going to say, and I believe it's true, is the top sarcoma specialist in the Chicago area. He is moving on to a new position in California. And so another loss on my part. I've felt very comfortable and close with my sarcoma specialist, and I know he's done everything he can to extend my life as best as it can be. We will move on from this. It's probably the best timing for something like this to happen, simply because if I'm stopping treatment anyway, it's not as important because there's no one there needing to be looking over treatments right now. However, you always expect that there's somebody out there looking at possible new treatments that might come out that, who knows, could take care of somebody as sick as I am. And we expect that to happen. Expect that will still be continuing, that that there are treatments and things out there that might come up that I might be good for, that have a high success rate, let's put it that way. Hasn't come up yet, but another loss in my life. It's just been one big bunch of people leaving. It makes it difficult. I have no idea what I'm going to do for an oncologist. I do have an appointment with my current sarcoma specialist next week, or next Friday, so we're going to talk about that a bit and see what next steps are, because I also would like a plan. Here's the good news, though. My palliative doctor is on board and is the guy I've been working with lately anyway. Since I'm off of treatment, we're working on pain management and all that kind of stuff. And he has been fantastic. I can't say enough about this palliative care team at Northwestern University Hospital. They are amazing. I am thrilled that he is part of my team. And actually had a call with him the other day and said, "You cannot leave." And he said, "Don't worry, I don't have plans to leave." So that is a good thing. I got a little stability in my life, but we're working on, on that. And the other piece is, if things continue to deteriorate in my body as they have been quickly the past few weeks, we've had the discussion about possibly moving into home hospice. And I'm not going to talk a lot about it again. I've already talked about it. Hospice does not mean you're on your deathbed dying. Hospice is there to make you feel as good as you can be to do the things you want to do. And they would work with my doctor at Northwestern, the palliative care doctor, and with treatment plans and stuff. So I wouldn't be losing the doctor just by going into home hospice. They would work with him on plans. Things would just get possibly a little easier in my life in regards to wouldn't have to worry about making sure, drugs I'm running out of are ordered or whatever. They take care of that. There's home health visits. There's a bunch of things that they do. And nothing really changes on my end here. I'm home, but they help. And the other part is, I'm really happy about that, is that they will help Tony too. So if, Tony has been working at home since COVID started, which has been absolutely amazing that he's been able to do that. And he can do that indefinitely. His boss has told him he can work from home, even if they were able to go back to the office, which they're not yet. If he needed a break, they would send somebody over and so that Tony can have a break. And I really want him to have a break. He definitely deserves it. Put in more than I don't know that I could do. It's got to be tough on him, but he doesn't show it to me. And he could get a break from me, which he probably desperately wants. So there's a lot of good things. And the way I see it is it's all good now. Despite the bouts of depression that I've been in and out of, I can finally say, and I believe one of the drugs that I've been taking to help me sleep is actually also an antidepressant. I think it's finally kicked in because I believe I am slowly moving into a positive place of acceptance. Days are not bad, even days that you would think would be turn me into a bowl of jelly and mush and crying and everything, which I've had happen fairly recently. I think it's helping a lot, and I'm very happy with that. Yeah. So kudos to drugs. Yay. Who knew? The person that I'm trying to get off as many as I can, and here I am praising one. But in any case, so the next steps, I believe, are really when I talk to my sarcoma specialist. We'll get some kind of plan in place. We'll be talking again in a couple of weeks with palliative care. We'll make some decisions on Do I just stay here in palliative care, or do I go to home hospice? Or not go, do I move to it? Either way, at this point, I don't think it makes much difference to me. I just want to live life day by day. I'm hoping, again, I think my taste buds are actually coming back slowly, very slowly. But finally, there are foods I can take. And again, with the family here, the cooking, absolutely amazing. And for the most part, I was able to taste pretty much everything that they made for me, and it was incredible. So kudos to that, at least that happened. But again, we will move into phases of what is coming next. I don't know what's to come next, but I do like to have a plan in place, and my next video I will update everybody on what those plans are. The cool thing is I believe I truly am a miracle, and that whatever life I have left, I have unlimited potential. Nothing can stop me. I want to defy a few more statistics. I've said that my goal is to be here at least through November. My goal is actually to be here through November 16 years from now or whatever. That would be great. But if I can make it through this coming November, that's my main goal. I guess I need all your love, support, and prayers, and I know I have that from all of you. And so I say thank you to everyone who watches these videos, who supports me and sends their love and their affirmations and their prayers, because I know it helps. It certainly helps me a lot. And I wish all of you the very best. We'll see what happens next. Thank you for watching, and make sure you make it a good day. Thank you.